Moving on, we have part 20 of Luke, and that's chapter 19, verse 10. And we'll have something like this. We're continuing the story of Zacharias. And now we have, for I came for those that were lost, which was lost, those that were lost. This doesn't need to be in there. Jesus told them a parable. No, this is kingdom of YHVH is going to appear immediately. No, that is absolutely idiot speaking. It's Jesus's kingdom from YHVH, and it wasn't going to appear. They all knew it was in heaven, or most of them knew it was in heaven. Who didn't want to distort the words? A king, not a certain noble, because he has to be honored by a kingdom here. Went to a country nearby. I said a kingdom, not a country, I guess. It says distant country, but it's a kingdom. They didn't label them by countries or use that type of definition. They were all under subject of rule. So Jesus is given an example of going to another kingdom nearby to be honored, not received, but honored by that kingdom, and then return. So it was going to be a king, not a nobleman, a certain nobleman, but a king. And he summoned 3 servants and gave them each 10 coins, not manners, but coins. And then he told them to do my business until I return. Now I gotta replace the word king here. This can't be a nobleman. Can't be a prince. Why would he be honored by the other kingdom? All I can think of is somebody that worked out an agreement between the kingdoms. Let's see what they have as the word nobleman. See if I can get some help into this situation here. Oh. That's not helping. How do I correct the word noble? Oh, I guess I'm going to, I'm not thinking quick enough here to have an answer for you. So what I'm going to do is just put nobleman back into it. Went to Nobleman went to a distant country with Celia. Okay, here we got a different region. Okay. If we go here, I've got a different region. Okay. And that country, even though it's used 15 times. I can put in region. Okay. Let's click here, put in region. A nobleman went to a region nearby. Yeah, we buy that turn in and they know John. That more reasonable. Okay. That's mm, I have to change this to noble male. For the simple fact that man means male or female, and we know it's a male dominant society with the money. So a noble male went to a region nearby to be honored by that uh, aspect region. A noble went to a region nearby to be honored by that region. A nobleman went to a nearby region to be honored. And then returned. Then returned. That's better. He summoned 3 servants, not 10, but just 3 servants, and gave them each 10 coins. And then he told them to do my business until I return. I come back. Okay, and his citizens hated him, and he sent a delegation after him saying, we do not want this male to reign over us. That's just no. That we're done with that. That's nonsense being stuck in there. When he returned, he summoned his servants, slave servants, to know what kind of business they'd done. The first told him, "From your coins, I made 10 more coins." Well, not good slave, but because you have been faithful to me by doing my work, um, you will have authority over 10 cities, not cities, over 10. Yes, servants can be cities, but noblemen can't give away cities. That's probably why I had the word king involved there. So, but to have a nobleman give him over a large area, and I guess that's what a nobleman would be, one of the richest in that area. So, over 10 servants. Uh, Let's see. Gotta change that to servants again here by the time. The slug came and told them by his master of Martin. He told you'll be over 5 servants. And the last told him, your coins I put away. Are afraid of you because you are a demanding male, not exacting male, but a demanding male. This does not need to be added to the words. We've got it right here that he thinks his boss is too demanding on him of doing his business. Doesn't need to say worthless slave, for you knew I am a demanding male, and this does not need to be here. So why did you not put coins in a bank? So it would have collected interest. Collected the interest. And he said, he said, not to bystander, then he said, take my coins away from him and send him away from me. This doesn't need to give it to the one with 10 minus. That isn't what it is. If he's a not trusting, you have to send him away. So I'm adding this text here. I should make it. There. But if you have one that you don't trust, even though you gave him enough to go by it, there is a proverb in there, so don't worry, I will explain that later. But this has to be put into the text. Okay. Well, they said to him, Master, he has 10 manas already. Well, the only thing is they're complaining about one having some getting more. I don't think the others would say that. It's about how they're being rewarded, and it's not going to be in money. I tell you, because he's been rewarding them as rulers over other servants. And I tell you that everyone who has will more be given. Well, that isn't true. Like I keep telling you, this parable is about Jesus' kingdom, so you can't receive more than just being received into the kingdom. That is, you can't even fathom the gift that you're going to be given to live in heaven forever. And the proverb can't, no, a proverb is about Jesus or Jesus's kingdom. He makes teachable things from parables, making people think about his kingdom. Okay, so here Jesus would not just say these things. After he said this, went on the road ascending to Jerusalem. Okay, now we know that he's leaving Jericho. Uh, so what this means is Jericho's down here and he's ascending up here to Jerusalem. Okay, just to let you know what's going on. And this is the first city he went to. Okay. Let's see. Um, hold on. Let me make sure I got the right city. Where is it? Let's put it in here. Search. And here's the one I like that. See how he's entering. He's got to enter this one before he enters this one. So we're talking about he's got to be here first as he's ascending, and then he's leaving, descending, and then he will ascend back up into Jerusalem. And it's not a mount of olives. It was a mount that had olives, olive trees. Okay, so that we now know we know now where we're going from Jerusalem down there, and we're going to this city. Okay, here it's here the mount called Olives, mount called Olives. He sent two disciples to go into a village. Well, we know what the village is. It's this village here. I just showed you that it was there. So I'm adding this word on this town as being correct. And then as you enter, you'll find a colt tied to a post, which no one has ever set. Untie it and bring it to me. Okay, now Jesus is heading to into Jerusalem, and not if he asks, but when he asks, "Why you're untying my colt?" You will tell him your king has a need. Now I changed it from Lord to King because Jesus was. This is putting the correct title here, okay? And he will send it away with you. They found it just as I told them, and they were untying. Why are you untying my colt? So it's not if, it was when. And they said, your king has need of it, has needs. Your king needs it. Okay. Um, they brought it to Jerusalem and threw hide on a hide on it. Garments is their what they wear, and if these the true Israelis, they lived thousands of years according to their forefathers lived, and that was in tents and hides, uh, and that relates to Noah's time, and it also relates back to Adam and Eve. Our Creator made them hide garments. Okay. So this is what it means in garments. This is what they're talking about. So these people would have had hide garments. Um, and it's something that they didn't need to spend money on to go buy clothes. Hides lasted longer, so it was really a better um, a clothing than the cloth clothing. It didn't get you wet if it rained out. So these things are important that to make sure that you understand why I keep putting the word hide in there. And Jesus sat on the colt, and as he was riding the colt, not going, as he was riding the colt, they were spreading olive leaves on the road. They weren't spreading their garments. They had to have, because they're there with these trees, but these trees are monster sized. So I know that I'm going to correct this later, but I'm going to put Mount Olives or olive leaves on the road. are they weren't spreading, they were throwing, they were tossing. I'm going to correct all that. They were tossing up the leaves and they fluttered down before him. Okay. But that's the way that verse is, because I know the other stories have already corrected it, and that's not much. There's better text that's going to be used. When I go to put them together, there's going to be double stories, double text, and I'm going to make sure that I pull the best out of all of them and create something from them. And descending from the mount with olive trees. Now, see, now here, this text is very truthful. Like I said, when you understand this path of up and then down and then back up. So now we know that he is descending down this path here, okay? So it's just nice to see that the text is still descriptive enough that you knew that the first writers understood the land, and we still have it in the text today. His crowd and disciples began praising YB, and his loud voice, then as a loud voice, everyone. Now this was miracles which they had seen. This is just out of place. Okay, everyone was saying, when you understand what's going on here, they added this to break the two verses together, and yet we know that they did that, and when they did that, they added these words in here. So it would have been too obvious if they would have left it alone and said, everyone was saying, blessed is our King, he comes as promised by YV. So not name of, but is promised. They were waiting for his promise, as prophecy. But I try to say that his everlasting covenant, the word covenant isn't there, as his promises. He promised David that through his son's seed, that he will have his son will be a king, and he'll have a king in heaven forever. That's a prophecy and a promise. Okay, so I could have used either one. I like the word promised here. Promised by our Lord, by YV, our peace, for our peace in heaven is with, had to add the word with, as with, is highest. Now, we're going to take a look at these because his highest means Jesus, okay? So, let's move to the screen here. And boy, these objects are so small. Look at it. No. See, this is saying peace in heaven and glory in the highest. You can't have the word glory. Yeah, I removed it from the text. Heaven. So if you know that the word glory is wrong, you have to have word highest. So I have to also mention that I put this here. Peace in heaven is with his highest. They are promised to be with him, those who have obeyed. So the thing here, the text has to reflect the truth that they knew that here is our king. He's coming to promise he's going to have a kingdom in heaven, but it's for our peace as well in heaven with his highest. Um, and I'm going to change this to our highest because um, there is no virgin birth, never was. Our highest. But it is promised by a creator, so yes, I can do this with our highest. son from David. He's going to be the highest from the lineage of males, promised all the way back from Noah's time. So the thing here is it's our highest. Then some of our priests with their crowd said, "Teacher, rebuke your crowd." Now this would have been them no as he came into. No, it's not here. They have approaching him. Approach. Here I have to have they came out. They heard. They could. They would have heard a lot of noise. And what I'm saying is that Jerusalem would have been aware that Jesus is coming. The news just spreads too fast, too much right now at this point. So I'm using the word priests because they were the ones working in Jerusalem, and they would have had their houses and family near that area. So the thing here is I'm using the word priest because Pharisees is just wrong. I can't use the word judges, but it would have been priests because they would have been aware of what Jesus is going to talk about later here. Um, uh, Three broke your disciples, but he's not everyone is a disciple, so the correct word is crowd. And he answered them, this crowd, if this crowd, if this crowd becomes silent, the stones will cry out for me. As he was in, because this is now divided as one story to the next, because now, as he was entering the city of Jerusalem, he wept. Now he's coming back up that ascension that I showed you. And then Jesus said, had they known this day, which means the people that are going to, you got to remember why he wept, is that he understands that I'm going to do this. And actually, he would have been grieving. He would have been not grieving. This word's going to be changed. I'm not going to do it now, but this word's got to be changed later. They had known of this day, meaning he is going to enter into Jerusalem as their king. If they would have known of this day, they would have repented. As it is, I am hidden from their eyes. Now it's not the word. It is as it is, because they weren't. If it says now, then it's not being, the word now is not being used correctly, so it has to be as it is. I am hidden from their eyes, and this is true. No one of this day. Okay. If they have believed, they have believed. If they had believed. Okay. If they had believed this day was coming, yes, they would have repented. Yes, that's that. If they really truly believed Jesus was their king, they would have repented, not have peace. They, things which make peace. Just there would be a really odd verse to read. Let's see, that's 42. It says, yeah, because when he approached, he saw the city and wept over it. Then he says, let me show you here in the text. This is the verse, so you can see that, yeah, he's replying to these guys, I guess. If you had known of this day, even you, the things which make for peace, uh, which make for peace, now you know they have, but now they have been hidden from your eyes. That's just stupid. Jesus saying stupid stuff. Right? It's too easy for me to spot when Jesus is being stupid. Okay, they're just using trick words and not actually saying what it means. Jesus would have said it just like this. Then Jesus said, if they believed this day, they would have repented. As it is, I am hidden from their eyes. See, that's very clear. I've cleaned that up. It's clear, it's simple, and it's exactly what most likely was said. The days are coming when my enemies will surround Jerusalem. Um, and level it to the ground. Now we know by history it was some 70 years later that the Romans come in and destroyed the house of our Creator. But it really wasn't Jerusalem that they leveled. Although they probably would have leveled Jerusalem as well, I guess. Um, um, I'm just trying to make sure that this is the word Jerusalem surround. My enemies will surround. These are coming when our enemies, as these were talking to his crowd, will surround Jerusalem, level it to the ground. Um, I'm going to change it to, because I'm adding it, surrounding him you in on every side. No, to level it in the ground, they're going to hem you on every side to level you to the ground. No, that isn't. It's not Jerusalem. I'm going to leave it as Jerusalem. We're going to put it as, check that out to make sure that, because I know that they did not leave one block on another there, so they might be even hauled those white granite blocks someplace else because there was a lot of them, and it would have been to made or used someplace else, and the Romans had the means to do that. They wouldn't have smashed them up. They knew not to waste things. The length of time to build, um, I think it's over a couple hundred blocks, but you got to realize that this is 20 cubics by 60 cubics. And so all these blocks that make up this large building. So I think that's 30 feet by 90 feet. These blocks are huge, so they could have been used someplace else. And I would say somebody should be searching for those somewhere because I just don't see them. Uh, I know they're going to level it to the ground, so it has to be his house here. Oh, nope, it's got to be Jerusalem, doesn't it? Boy, all that, and I corrected my correction to correct my correction. And that's the way it's been going lately. Um, and I just hadn't read farther because I have to put his house here, leaving you one, not stone, but block on top of another. Well, let me go through here, visiting, not my visitation, but visiting. He's entered his courtyard, not his temple, and removed those for buying and selling. Okay. Let me explain something about why I'm saying that these are blocks and not stones. Uh, at the time, David had 80, I think it said 80,000 hewers. Probably not the number, but they were hewers. That means they worked with hammer and chisel to make blocks. And Solomon said we made him a forever house. So saying that it's a forever house means it's a granite block. You go to look for granite quarries in Jerusalem or in Israel today, you will find that there's a red granite by Jerusalem and there's a white granite by Hebron, where David was originally had made his uh, command post or whatever. He was making it there, but then he went and moved the tent for meeting. But the object is he was preparing the items to make him a house because the king from Lebanon, who would have been Shem's descendants, had sent down and built him a house. And when he thought about it, he was going to make a house, and then he was told not to make his house, but have Solomon make it. So when Solomon was done, he said a forever house. So we know it's granite, red or white. We go back to Moses when he's building the tent. He was told to use ram hides and goat hides. Therefore, it was white. So they used the Hebron white. Okay. And to go a little bit farther, what was the courtyard, the floor, and the walls made of? Well, Rehoboam went to his workers near Shechem, and they were complaining about their work being too heavy. And that is because there is a limestone quarry there, and they were bringing these blocks, and they were made the courtyard and the fence, and then they started making the walls that go around Jerusalem. So the thing here is everything was white, okay? And that, uh, also, I'm looking at the text there just to remind me what I wanted to say. Jesus did not go into the temple or the house for meeting. It's 30 by 90 feet and 20 by 20 by is where meet with our creator. But in this other area, there's no windows. There are the two doors that open, and it's towards the south. Um, and where do I get this understanding for the south was because when Moses was told to make this room in the temple or in the house for meeting with him, it was that he told them to put curtains on the south side so they could enter in. So that way the door would have been on the south side as well to enter. And these doors, if you figure out the black size, which you can, they're going to be very large, but there's not enough room to be what is we know as merchants and traders and people walking around. But the courtyard is very large. So it was the courtyard, not the house, that Jesus went in and kicked them out from. Now I'm going to go on to the next video here. I know that's the 40-minute mark and got through this one, but I will be picking it up as soon as I can and go from there.